Looking at more symbols today, this symbol belongs to Ontario Media Development Corporation. What I see is the Masonic triple tau, and if we separate it, we can see that it is 3 T's. If you put heads on it, they look like little people. Jack Whitehall in front of Teenage Cancer Trust. Do you see the triple tau on the back wall? Someone in comments told me this is a flower called the trillium. Let's have a look. Trillium, gender, feminine, planet, Venus. It does look similar to the symbol used in Charmed. This is a witchcraft sign called the triquetra. The trinacria, symbol of Sicily, is composed of the head of the Gorgon, whose hair is entwined with serpents and is of corn, from which radiate 3 legs bent at the knee. The trinacria, whose arrangement is made explicit in the Greek word triskalis, and is linked to the geographic meaning traeus, 3, and acra, capes, from which also in Latin, triquetra, 3 peaks. Most people know about Star Trek and are familiar with this. We return to asteroids in astrology. The symbol for Eunomia is a star on top of a heart. Eunomia was the goddess of good order and lawful conduct. She was associated with the internal stability of a state, including the enactment of good laws and the maintenance of civil order. Her opposite number was dysnomia, lawlessness. And they gave us Lucy, lawless. Why are they all named after gods? Back to the Star Trek symbol. 5-pointed star. If you reverse it, that's what I see. A distorted love heart with a star. That can also connect to Ishtar and Tammuz. The 5-pointed star belongs to Venus, and Tammuz is Cupid. Next we have alien versus predator. I'm looking at the words near to the top. If you move the V onto the A, I see the symbol for arsenic. Arsenic is a chemical element. This is a notorious poisonous metalloid that has 3 allotropic forms, yellow, black, and grey. Arsenic and its compounds are used as pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and various alloys. The elemental alchemy symbol for arsenic was used for medicinal and magical cures. A compound of arsenic and sulfur was said to induce trances of enlightenment and philosophical ascension and direction. But it can also be the symbol for fire and water. If you move the P beside the V, then it looks like aqua regia. Aqua means water. I found a Russian coin and examined the reverse side. It's similar to the dove in alchemy. They both hold the symbol for cinnabar and a wand. They both have a crown. I did find a flag of the Rothschild, and that is identical. Now who do you think owns Russia? This is a Georgian coin called lari. It also has a man on a horse. Another from Georgia, I don't know who is this, but he's riding a lion, which is odd because Ishtar stands on a lion or she's seen riding on it. Her symbols are the lion and 2 owls. This Georgian coin has an owl on top of a lion with stars above his head. Do you remember the mermaid goddess syncretized as Venus? There are 7 stars around both. Don't you find that strange? Mint, a place where coins, metals, etc. are made. Old English, minute coin. Money related to Old High German coin, ultimately from Latin minetta, mint coin from minetta, epithet of Juno. The connection with the Roman goddess Juno arises from the fact that the Romans coined money in the temple of Juno Minetta. That means all money is dedicated to these gods. Juno is also known as Hera. Her sacred animal is the peacock. As it happens, the 2 bird species tied to Venus are peacocks and doves. This is an Albanian coin called 1 lek. It has a pelican standing on a stone. The pelican is a phase in alchemy, and alchemy is tied to metallurgy. Do you remember the War of the Roses? The Tudor rose resembles the rose in alchemy. That same rose is on the reverse of a 20-pence piece. From George Ripley's scrolls, it's called the Golden Flower of Alchemy. That's curious because rose gold was a popular color fashion. Rose gold is a mixture of yellow gold, copper, and silver. The copper gives it a redder color than yellow gold naturally has. The silver helps to tone down the redness of copper, achieving a subtle pink shade. So why didn't they call it pink gold? Or prawn pink? because these are rituals to their gods. You may be familiar with Air Jordan. I can see this is the disc with wings. There's a symbol inside of the ball. Previously, I've discussed plasma and the squatter man. This is the depiction of plasma seen here on the ball. Really, it's a flying craft, so I'm not surprised to see plasma associated with it. This symbol is called the Chi-Rho. It looks like a P and an X. And what did they do? They gave us Windows XP. A window is a portal. I think this looks like one of the alchemical symbols to copper. If you turn the symbol and cut the circle to half, what does it look like? It strongly resembles the Chi-Rho. The Watchers took wives from whomever they chose among the women and had sexual relations with them. At the same time, they began to teach their wives sorcery and other magical arts. In addition to sorcery, the list of what they teach now includes metallurgy and the making of weapons, cosmetics, and astrology. That's why the 7 metals are ruled by gods, aka Nephilim. Copper is ruled by Venus, also known as Tanit, Ishtar, Ashtoreth, etc. Someone commented that I need to learn about Catholicism properly. I see the symbols that they're using, which tells me who they really are. Aphrodite's unhellenic character is ascribed to the Phoenicians, and thus she is easiest to identify with her Eastern counterparts. She's the Greek version of the Near Eastern love goddess, who can be identified with the following: Anea, Anaitis, Anat, Aeneatis, Asherah, Ashtart, Ashtoreth, Astarte, Atargatis, Hathor, Inanna, Ishtar, Kylili, Kybel, Nenea, and Tanais. In these forms, she was worshipped in Armenia, Assyria, Cappadocia, Egypt, and the Levant and Persia. Anaitis was identified with Artemis's fertility aspect, and Anatea is found as a surname of Demeter, Rhea, and Cybele. An early cult site to Aphrodite was Paphos, which also at some point in its history was a cult site to Astarte. The identification of the two goddesses allowed the cult site to be taken over by different peoples who merely changed the name of the goddess to whom they offered worship. There was a further similarity between the cults of Aphrodite and Astarte in the sacrifice of doves to both goddesses.
Get the bird.
Get the book.
I want him so much. I can't think about anything else. I don't sleep. He has to leave his wife. He has to leave her now.
Perhaps you might find one better suited.
No, I don't want anyone else. He's all I think about. Why the hell else would I come here?
Take the money, Jen.
I want him to want me so much that he can't stand it.
Be careful what you wish for.
There's Extinction Rebellion, using the dove as their symbol. Columbidae is a bird family consisting of pigeons and doves. That's why you had the Columbine High School Theatre production. Look at it here. The family contains 344 species divided into 50 genera. 13 of the species are extinct. And what was the official story? 13 were killed at Columbine High School on April 20th. The youngest 14, the oldest was 47. Interesting because the alchemical symbol for lead looks like a 47. Can you see it? 4 and 7. Back to this. Who rules lead? Saturn, also known as Kronos, who liked to eat his children, so it was a sacrifice to Saturn. Another Extinction Rebellion poster. We live in fictitious times. I suppose that's meant to be a play on the Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. I took some pictures of their posters. It has a quote by Nelson Mandela up there. Again, we have green, white, and black, similar to the other poster I decoded, connecting to alchemy and vitriol. However, Venus rules the color green. The dove or pigeon is her symbol. The dove is carrying a love heart connecting to Tammuz, who is Cupid. But I think it also connects to radiation since these entities seem to have it around them. the Statue of Liberty, made with copper, but due to oxidation, it changed green. Venus rules copper. Copper turns green when oxidized. Originally native to India, indigo migrated to ancient Egypt, Greece, and the Yoruba kingdoms of what is now modern Nigeria, where it was strongly identified with the powerful female orishas, Yamaya, and especially Oshun. Oshun and Yamaya are incarnations of Venus. Bluestone is copper sulfate, a naturally occurring substance which is a truly shade of blue, but is also very toxic. And Venus rules copper, so anything to do with copper is governed by her. Extinction Rebellion created a new poster. Before it was red, and the pigeon carried a lock. Now the poster is magenta. Magenta is a combination of red and violet that oscillates on a high frequency. It's used to energize rituals where immediate action and high levels of power are required. The birds associated with Venus are the stock dove. Odd, because when I searched the poster, Google told me it's a stock dove. Minerals, metals, and stones. Copper, especially the Corinthian, and white. Venus rules copper. I found online a yellow poster, and it happens to look like the smiley face murders or the watchmen. Those who came through the gates, were also called watchers. The Sumerian scribes refer to the watchers as Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. The Bible refers to Nephilim, which also means those who came from heaven to earth. Here's another poster. I find it interesting that it looks similar to the poster of Tenet, which I explained is Tanit. On an Assyrian seal, we see the two liberations of the waters and of the sun, closely associated as if in one event, the rising of the sun supported by the star goddess Ishtar, the morning star Venus. I think what they're showing in that relief is a torus. This is a torus or toroidal field. They tell you that's what it is because they drew that on top of the hourglass. Do you recall the sigils of Solomon? Third pentacle of Venus is on the right. I see a similarity. Do you see it? Can you see it now? Let's decode the poster. It's cerulean blue with orange bees. Melissa means bee in Greek, and to the ancients, a Melissa was a priestess of the goddess. Of which goddess exactly, we can't always be certain. Some Melissae were dedicated to Demeter, some to Artemis, but some were priestesses of Aphrodite, and there's a popular law that holds that the bee itself is the embodiment of the soul of a priestess of the goddess of love. That's why they call this one Queen Bee. 5-pointed star of Venus above the head, looking identical to Ishtar. Turban on the head, they both have a wand, and one leg bent at the knee. Beyonce was at the Grammys wearing this, and it reminded me of Cardi B at the Met Gala. That's too similar to be a coincidence. Beyonce channels Yoruba goddess Oshun. Okay. Oshun may manifest in the form of her sacred birds, vultures, and peacocks. Incidentally, Cardi B has a peacock tattoo on her body. Similar stories exist in the myths and legends of Sumeria, which speak of gods called Anunnaki, coming among mortal kind and providing them with the rudiments of civilization. I believe there's a strong evidence to suggest that the Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim, were indeed the shamanic elite that founded the early Neolithic cult centers of Upper Mesopotamia. They are repeatedly referred to in pseudepigraphical literature as birdmen, and we know that the Neolithic period's highly prominent cult of the dead was focused around excarnation and the use of the vulture as a symbol of both astral flight and the transmigration of the soul in death. So if Oshun's symbol is a vulture, that means Oshun is a Nephilim. The amulet of the vulture. This amulet was intended to cause the power of Isis as the divine mother to be a protection for the deceased, and was made of gold in the form of a vulture hovering in the air with outstretched wings and holding in each talon the symbol of life, the Ankh. Isis is Venus and also Oshun. Syncretism. The spirit of sweet waters, Oshun, is the very embodiment of love and romance. She also assists in financial matters. That proves she's Venus. Venus, the planet of love, social awareness, and money. Oshun is the spirit of Nigeria's Oshun River. She traveled to the Western Hemisphere with enslaved Yorubans, emerging as a beloved force in Santeria, Candomblé, and other African diaspora traditions. The standard offering to Oshun is a glass of pure spring water and a dish of honey. Bees make honey, don't they? They change the name over time to confuse us, and people complain over the names, but it's the same entities. These celebrities, or whomever they are, they pay homage and obedience to a being called Venus. You don't know who you worship, but they do.